So it's a good morning from me. So I'm teaching this class AM, but you may be doing this PM, whatever time suits you. So Pure Yoga Detox for January is continuing, and we're still doing 6 poses that we've done in the last 2 videos of mindful movement. So starting at the front of your mat. If you need blocks, have blocks at the side of you. I'll cue them with the first part of the poses, just so you know where to go with them, and then I won't be using them after. So bringing yourself to the front of the mat, having your feet hip width apart, relax the knees slightly, take a little tilt of the tailbone, just so you bring yourself into a neutral spine, so you haven't got that arch down the lower back. And then just bring the hands down by the sides of the body. When I say not an arch, not a deep arch, but maybe just a slight curvature in the lower spine. Turn the palms forward. Squeeze the shoulder blades towards each other and then send those shoulder blades into the back pockets. Take a close of the eyes and just take a couple of moments in stillness, just to bring yourself present on the mat. Just noticing how those little movements of the body are working to keep you in this anatomical position. Little muscles firing in the ankles, in the bases of the feet, up through the calves, the knees and the thighs, around the pelvis area, through the spine from the base all the way up to the top of the neck, and all muscles around the abdominals, muscles around the rib cage, muscles around the shoulders, around the hands, the wrists, forearms, elbows, upper arms. Just noticing that everything is working, even though we feel we've found stillness. All those little pulses of muscles are still happening throughout the body. The muscle of the heart, the muscle of the diaphragm, are all working nice and hard to keep that blood pumping, to keep that air flowing. And just thinking of anything that you're nurturing through the practice, if you've got any injuries, or even something that maybe just feels a little tight. Maybe you've done some exercise over the weekend. Maybe you've had a lot of stillness through the weekend. Maybe you've indulged slightly, and these twisted poses will really help you get that digestive system working. Take an opening of the eyes. And start to connect with that Ujjayi breath if you can, taking breaths in and out through the nose, unless you're holding colds or allergies, in which case use the mouth. If you're in and out through the nose, that slight restriction at the back of the throat. Start to take those breaths a little deeper. And on your next breath in, raise the hands up towards the ceiling. Bring the palms together at the top, interlace the last 3 fingers, index finger and thumb not clasped, index finger pointing up. Put your weight into your left foot as you reach over to the right side of the room, taking the arms with it, taking that lateral flexion of the waist. Try and keep that neutral pelvis, don't let that lower back arch. Don't dip into that lower spine. And then come back through centre, over to the opposite side. Feeling that stretch down the right side body, contraction down the left. Pushing into the sole of that right foot. Try not to let those hips push over to the right. Come back to centre, release the hands, bring your left hand forward, your right hand back. And just place the left hand onto that right hip and the right hand into the lower back. Just make sure that pelvis is staying nice and neutral to the front of the mat. And the rotations coming from the waist and the shoulders come along to turn to the right side of the room. Breath in, bring those hands again back up towards the ceiling. Bring the palms together at the top. Then this time bring your right hand forward, your left hand back. Find the rotation. Maybe bring the right hand to the left hip and the left hand to the lower back. Keep that right hand holding that left hip from turning around to the left side. Keep it facing forward, both hip bones facing that short edge of the mat. Come back to centre, reach up with both hands, bring the palms together. Then on your out breath, let the palms come past the chest, bend the knees, start to fold from the hips. As you bring the hands to the floor and let go of the head, bending the knees as much as you need to. Make sure those feet are hip width apart and just let the head hang. Traction that neck, curl through the spine, bend through the knees, bending from the hips, chest sinking on top of those thighs. Then on your in-breath, slowly and mindfully curl up, one vertebra at a time, bringing yourself all the way back up to standing. And as you arrive in standing, let the shoulders roll back. Take a breath out. Next breath in, raise the hands again back up to the ceiling. Palms come together, interlace the fingers, index finger pointing up and the thumbs pointing back. Push into the left foot as you take the arms over to the right. Take that lateral flexion again from the waist. Come back through centre and then take that lateral flexion over to your left side. Pushing into the right foot, stretching the right side waist, relaxing the shoulders, keeping the pelvis neutral. Come back to centre, release the hands, then bring your left hand forward, your right hand back, find a rotation to the right, then bring your left hand onto the right hip, right hand to the lower back. Just try and encourage a little more rotation as it's our second rotation of the day, so maybe you get a little more twist through that waist. Come back to centre, bring both hands back up towards the ceiling, then bring your right hand forward, your left hand back, rotate first, then maybe bring the right hand to the left hip, the left hand behind, turn and twist. Still breathing easy in this space. And then bring those hands back up to centre, hands come back together at the top. Then bring the palms to the chest, start to fold from the hips, bending the knees, just bringing the chest to the thighs and allowing those hands just to fall to the floor. Let go of the head, have a nod, have a shake. Then one more curl up through that spine, one vertebra at a time. Slowly bringing yourself all the way up to standing. As you arrive in standing, allow the shoulders to roll back, the head to stack, and then let those shoulders relax back to the hips. So just reminding you to always keep that ribbon hip tether, to keep those poses nice and strong through the core. So we're going to start with our flow now. We're doing the first 3 poses and then we're reversing back through. So on your breath in, raise those hands back up to the ceiling, palms come together. On your out breath, start to fold from the hips, bend the knees as much as you need to bring the hands to the floor. Breath in, come up to a half lift, place the hands on the shins, straighten the legs. Breath out, release the hands back down. Stepping back with your left foot, dropping the left knee to the floor, untucking the toes. Left hand stays down, right hand lifts, and we rotate to that right side of the room, finding our rotated runner's lunge. So keep that ribbon hip tether, keep lifting the lower belly up, but find the strength through the waist to make that twist. And that left hand's there as an anchor to help with the twist if you need it, or you can just bring a feather-like touch to the fingertips and use the obliques to make the twist themselves. Holding it in this space just for one more breath. And then releasing the right hand back down. If you're using blocks, take a hold of the blocks, walk the hands back towards that left knee, bring those right toes back towards the shins, and we're just going to take a little rotation through that hip socket joint. So let the foot come out to the right, back to centre, into the left, and back to centre. One more time both ways. Back to centre, over to the left, and feel that moving that femur bone in that hip socket, back to centre. Take a breath in, elongate through the spine. Then as you breathe out, maybe fold from those hips, all the time squeezing those toes back towards the shins to get that stretch down that posterior chain of the right leg. Then if you wish to take the twist, take the hand or the block towards that right foot and twist through the waist, contract through the right side to find a little rotation to that right side of the mat. Let those hips stay central in the centre of the mat. Quite often they can push over to the side, so try and keep them nice and neutral. And then bring those shoulders back forward. Bring the blocks back to the front of the mat, bend into that right knee. Tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee, walk the hands around towards your left side mat, maybe using the block underneath the face. Hands come into the centre, left hand stays on the block, right hand comes to the shoulder, turn the shoulders. Make sure the toes are either in front of the heels or just slightly turned inwards. When you found that rotation to the right side, maybe raise the right hand. If that doesn't feel comfortable, maybe bring that right hand to the lower back. Maybe gaze up to the thumb. Energetically push into both feet. Outside edges, big toe mounts. Little softness through the knees so we're not hyperextending through that knee joint. Or maybe you want to take a deeper bend if this is still feeling a little tight at the beginning of class. Bring the right hand down to meet the left. Bring your left hand to the shoulder. Turn the twist to the left. Maybe reach that hand up or bring the left hand to the lower back. Maybe the gaze goes up to the ceiling and just notice how one side feels with the rotation compared to the other. I know my rotation to the left side is always a little tighter. Remember, don't lock out the joints of the knees, don't lock out the joints of the elbows. And then bring that left hand back down to meet the right. Just allow the body to fold over both legs, bringing the head as close to the floor as you can. Easy breaths in, long breaths out. So we're going to reverse back through those three poses. So come up on your inhale to a half lift. Walk the hands back towards that right foot, turning the right foot to the front of the mat. Drop the left knee and tuck the toes. If you're using blocks, walk the blocks back towards that left knee and bring those right toes back towards the shins. Just take a little rotation of that femur bone in that hip socket. Moving the foot from left to right. Do it twice both directions. And then take a breath in, elongate the spine. On your out breath, fold over that right thigh as close as you can come with the chest to the thighs. Then if you want to take that rotation, taking that left hand either to the outside of that right foot or hand on block over to the right side of the mat. Breathe in and breathe out. Then come back through centre. Walk the hands back towards the front of the mat. Just place the blocks either side. Left hand comes to the floor, right hand comes to the shoulder, turn and twist. And then send that right hand up to the ceiling. Again, gazing towards that right thumb, pushing nice and energetically into both the top of the back foot and the sole of the right foot, pushing into that left knee also. Find that stability and activation of the legs. Then bring that right hand down to meet the left, tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee, step yourself forward to the front of the mat and allow that body just to fold over the thighs, let go of the head. Next breath in, raise those hands all the way back up towards the ceiling, bringing the palms together at the top. And then on your out breath, folding from the hips, we will take it on the left side now, bringing the hands all the way to the floor, bend the knees as much as you need to. On your in breath, come up to a half lift, place the hands on the shins. On your breath out, release the hands back to the floor, bend into the knees, step your right foot back. Drop your right knee to the mat and untuck the toes. Right hand stays down, left hand comes to the shoulder, turn, twist, rotate. Maybe send that left hand to the ceiling, gazing up towards that left thumb. Maybe coming into a feather-like touch with those right fingertips. So we're not using that right arm as an anchor, we're just using the muscle strength to twist through the waist. Nice, long, easy breaths. Runner's lunge. Pavrita Anjani Asana. And then release that left hand back down. Take a hold of the blocks if you're using. Walk the hands back towards that right knee. Bring the left toes back towards the shins. And make that femur bone rotate in the hip socket. Taking it 2 times to both sides. Maybe one hip rotates better than the other. All the time being aware of how your own body moves. Come back to centre. Use your in-breath to create space through the waist and through the spine. And your out-breath to draw the belly back to fold over that left thigh. Hips stay in the centre. If you want to take a rotation, bring your right hand either to the outside of the left foot, or if you're using blocks, bring the block to the outside of that left foot. Breathe in, breathe out. One more breath here, straightening as much as you can through that left knee, but not locking out. Then bring those shoulders back facing forward to the front of the mat. Walk the blocks forward. I'm just leaving one block to the side. Tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee, walk the hands around to the right side of the mat, placing the block if you're using it underneath the face. So left hand stays grounded, toes in front of the heels, right hand comes to the shoulder, turn, twist to the right, and reach that right hand up to the ceiling or bring it to the lower back. Find that rotation. Really feel the squeeze of that digestive system. Those oblique muscles working to make the twist, but try and keep the pelvis as neutral to the floor as you can. Bring that right hand down to where the left hand is. Take the rotation to the other way. Left hand comes to the shoulder, and maybe that left hand lifts to the ceiling. Maybe the gaze is up to the thumb. Push energetically into the outside knife edge of the feet and the toe mounts of the feet. Find the weight in the heels and the ball of the foot. Whole of the foot planted nice and firmly to the mat. Bring that left hand down to where the right hand is. Allow the body to fold. Draw the belly back as you fold over those thighs. Remember, don't hyperextend the knees. Use the abdominal strength to find the fold. Then your next breath in, come back up to a half lift. We're going to reverse back through the poses. Start to walk the hands back towards that left foot. And as you drop that right knee, take a hold of the blocks if you're using and tuck the back toes. Walk the hands back towards the right knee. Bring the left toes back to the shins. Find that rotation through that upper thigh. Taking it into both directions twice. And then when you come to finish both directions, bring those toes back to the center, draw them back to the shins. Breath in elongates, breath out, we fold over that leg. Squeeze that belly back, squeeze that digestive system. If you want to take the rotation, right hand to the left foot, or bring the block around. Feel the contraction through the waist on the left and the length down that right side of the back. Then come back through center. Walk the hands back towards that left foot. Place the blocks at the side if you're using. Right hand comes to the floor, left hand to the shoulder. Find that runner's lunge. Reaching up with the fingertips. Energetically pushing into both feet. Top of the back foot, sole of the front foot. Feel the activation of the legs switching up. One more breath here. Then release that left hand down. Tuck under those back toes and lift up the back knee. Step forward. Allow the body to fold over those legs. Let go of the head. On your in-breath, raise those hands up towards the ceiling. Bring the palms together at the top. Bring the hands to the chest. Have a soft gaze to the floor. Maybe close the eyes. So we're doing the last three poses, Humble Warrior, Standing Half Splits, and Malasana Yogic Squats. So on your breath in, reach the hands up to the ceiling. On your breath out, fold from the hips, bring the hands to the floor, bending the knees as much as you need to, let the head go. Breath in comes up to a half lift. Breath out, plant the hands and step your left foot back. Drop the back heel internally. Windmill the hands up and over. And then take the hands behind the back, interlace the fingers, push the hands down to the floor, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Turn the shoulders to the front of the room and then start to fold towards that right thigh, right shoulder, right knee. Maybe those hands come up and away from the body. Let go of the head, let it hang to that right shin. Push into the outside edge of the left foot, the sole of the front foot. Right knee stays bent, left leg is straight. Humble warrior. Easy breaths here. And then release those hands down. Bring them either side of your right foot. Come onto the toes of your left foot. Step forward onto your right leg, lifting the left leg as high as you can, pointing through the left toes. Maybe gazing to the back of the mat. If you wish to challenge a little bit of a balance here, maybe take one hand to the right ankle, maybe take the left hand to join, and just find the balance on that one standing right foot. And then release the hands, bring the left foot to meet the right, widen the feet, sink the hips. Maybe you wish to use a block here to bring the bum onto. Once you've found your depth of Malasana, bring the elbows into the inside of the knees. So the toes are slightly off the mat, the heels are slightly on. If you can go a little bit deeper and you don't need to use a block, just bring those hips and sink them as low as you can go. So as we did with those first rounds, we're going to be reversing back through the poses on this same side. Just take another moment in Malasana, breathing into that space of those hips. Maybe you're still quite high, which means you're working those thighs. And then start to lift the hips, bring the hands to the floor, heel toe the feet back into the center. Raise that left leg up towards the ceiling. Let the head hang, find that standing half splits. Really think about squeezing the glutes of that left side to lift that left leg a little higher. If you want to take a little challenge with the balance, holding on to that right ankle with one hand or two. And then release the hands down, release the left foot to the back of the mat, drop the heel down internally, windmill the left arm up, over, interlace the fingers behind the back, squeeze those hands down towards the floor, turn the shoulders to the right thigh and bring that shoulder back towards that right knee, maybe raising the hands away from the spine if the shoulders are happy to do so. Push strong into the feet, relax the head. Just take a moment in humble warrior before we start to make our way back to the front of the mat. Release those hands down to either side of the right foot. Step your left foot to meet the right. Allow the body to fold over those legs. Breath in, raise those hands back up to the ceiling, palms together at the top. On your out breath, doing those same three poses on the left side. Bring the hands to the floor. On your breath in, come up to a half lift, hands onto the shins. On your breath out, release the hands to the floor. Step back with your right foot, drop the right heel, keep your left knee bent as you windmill up and over to initially find warrior two for a moment, and then bring the hands to interlace at the lower back. Push them down to the floor, turn the shoulders towards the left knee, and then the left shoulder towards the left knee, and the chest to the inside of the left thigh. Humble warrior, left side. Reach up with the hands with clasped fingers if you can, or just keep them at the lower back or a half midway point. Back leg straight, pushing into the outside edge of the right foot. Left knee bend, pushing into the sole of the left foot. One more breath here. Then release the hands down either side of that left foot. Come onto the toes of the back foot. Then step forward onto the left leg.
Reaching up with the right leg, squeezing the glutes, pointing through the toes of the right foot. Choice to keep the balance with the hands or bring one hand to the ankle. If that feels comfortable, bring the other hand to that left ankle and feel the balance on that standing left leg. Then release that right foot to meet the left. Heel toe the feet out to the edges of the mat. Choice to use a block if you wish. Remember, it has 3 heights. Bring the hips nice and low. Bring the hands to the chest, elbows to the inside of the knees. And just take a moment in Malasana. Feeling the stretch of the lower back, the compression of the hips. Feeling the stretch through those hamstrings, the upper part of the hamstrings rather than the lower. So stretching around that pelvis area. And using the breath to maybe find a little more depth. Just holding it in this squat position just for another breath. So reversing back through those 3 poses. Bring the hands to the floor. Reach up with the hips. Heel toe the feet back in towards each other. Weight comes into the left leg as you raise the right leg. Point the right toes, squeeze the right bum cheeks, come into the standing half splits. Maybe find that challenge of the balance, holding on to the ankle of that left side. And then release the hands to ground the floor. Bring your right foot to the back of the mat, drop the right heel internally. Windmill the arms up and over, and then find those grip of the hands at the lower spine, squeeze the shoulder blades together, turn the shoulders forward, and then bend over that left thigh. Chest comes to the inside, arms come up high, left shoulder touching that left knee to find yourself back in that humble warrior space. Letting go of the head, feeling that stretch down that outside back leg. Pushing strong into those feet. Then release the hands either side of that left foot. Step your right foot to meet the left. Allow that body to fold. Let go of the head. On your in-breath, raise the hands back up to the ceiling. Palms together at the top. Bring the hands to the chest. And just hold it then. In mountain pose, hands down by the side of the thighs. Close the eyes if you wish. Try and find that nice stable pose. So where we're going from here is doing all 6 poses on both sides. Going through, adding on first and then subtracting our way back to the beginning. All the time working all those abdominal muscles, all those internal organs, getting rid of toxins, drawing in good nutrients, making the body feel healthy, making the mind feel healthy, nurturing that soul. Open the eyes. On your breath in, raise those hands up to the ceiling, palms come together at the top. On your out breath, fold from the hips, bring the hands to the floor, let go of the head. Breath in comes up to a half lift. Breath out, we plant the hands, we step back with the left foot and drop that left knee and tuck in the left toes. Left hand stays down, right hand lifts, we turn, rotate to the right. Maybe you want to feather-like touch through those fingertips of the left side. Try and use the oblique muscles to make that twist. So I'm going to go through the rest of this flow without the blocks, but if you want to use the blocks, we've given you that idea where you can. Bring the right hand down to the floor, either using blocks or not. Walk the hands back towards that left knee. Bring the right toes back to the shins. We're missing out that rotation. Breathe in, elongate. Breathe out and fold over that right thigh. If you want to take the left hand to the right outside edge of the foot and use the anchor of that left hand to turn and twist, stretching that back side, left side body. And then allowing that chest to face back forward, walking the hands forward towards that right foot, tucking the back toes under, lifting the back knee, Walking the hands around to the centre, toes in front of the heels, hands into the centre of the mat, either on the floor or a block. Left hand stays grounded, right hand comes to the shoulder, turn, twist, rotate, reach up with the right hand or bring it to the lower spine. Just soften the knees slightly, lift up the tailbone a little more to get some more stretch in those upper hamstrings. Soften that left elbow. Then bring that right hand to where the left hand is. Left hand either to the shoulder. And then bring that left hand up to the ceiling or to the lower back. Soften the right elbow. Keep lifted through the tailbone. Keep compressed through those hips. Then letting that left hand come down to the floor. Let that body fold over the legs. Just bringing the heads to wherever they reach. If you're not using a block, maybe bring those hands into the centre of both feet. Use that breath to fold over those legs. On your next breath in, come up to a half lift. Walk the hands around towards that right foot, keeping the left heel grounded. Windmill the hands up and over. Interlace the fingers at the lower back, turn the shoulders to the front, and then bring that chest to the inside of the right thigh, and the hands may be lifting up and over the head. Let go of the head in your humble warrior. Relax through the neck. Keep active through the legs. Maybe feeling like you're drawing the heels towards each other, but they don't necessarily move. That will feel like you're activating through those upper thighs. Then release the hands down to the lower back if they're lifted, and then to either side of the right foot. Come onto the toes of the back foot as you step forward onto your right leg, lifting your left foot up as high as you can, pointing through the left toes. Maybe you want to take a hold of the ankle with both hands, challenging the balance. Maybe gazing to the back of the mat. And then release that left foot to meet the right. Heel toe the feet out to the edges of the mat, toes off, heels in. And then slowly lower your bum. If you wish to come to a block, bring a block underneath that bottom. Push the elbows into the knees. We're just going to add something onto this Malasana squat. So bring your left hand to the floor. If you wish, reach up with the right hand and turn and twist the body to the right. So we get a little rotation through the waist, and we have to use the muscles in the outside of the hips to keep those knees open. Bring both hands back together. And then this time, right hand comes down to the floor. Reach up with your left hand and rotate to the left. Got to really squeeze that left bum cheek to keep that left knee open. And then release those hands back together, elbows to the inside of the knees. Take a breath more in Malasana before we start to take it back through reverse through all of those 6 poses. So bring the hands to the floor, raise up through the hips, heel toe the feet back in towards each other. Weight comes into your right leg as you lift the left toes up and high, finding standing splits. Maybe find a balance onto that right leg. Maybe you have to keep touching and grounding back with the hands every so often if the balance feels a little challenge like mine does today. And then release the hands to the floor, drop the left foot to the back of the mat and drop the heel internally. Windmill the left arm up and over, and then bring both hands to interlace. Push the hands down to the floor, turn the shoulders towards the front of the room, and then bring that chest to the inside of the right thigh. As you raise the hands away from the lower back, relax through the neck. Just give that head a nod, give that head a shake. And then releasing those hands down, walk them around to the left side of the mat. Toes in front of the heels or just slightly in. Left hand comes into the centre, right hand comes to the shoulder. Turn and twist that body, raise that right hand or bring it to the lower back. Right hand comes back to the floor, left hand comes to the shoulder. Turn, twist, rotate, send the left hand to the ceiling. Bring the left hand back to the floor. Allow the body to fold over the legs. On your in-breath, come up to a half lift. Walk the hands back around towards the right foot. Drop the left knee down and tuck the left toes. Walk the hands back to the left knee. Right toes back to the shins. Either left hand comes to the right outside edge of the foot and turn, twist, rotate in that split position. Then shoulders face back forward. Start to walk the hands back towards that right foot. Left hand stays down. Right hand goes up to the ceiling, rotated runner's lunge. Maybe the gaze up to that hand. And then bring that right hand down to meet the left, tuck the back toes under, lift up the back knee, step the left foot to meet the right, and allow that body to fold over the legs. On your next breath in, raise up the hands, send them up to the ceiling. One more flow on that left side. As you fold back over the hips, bringing the hands to the floor, let go of the head. Breath in, half lift, hands to shins or come onto fingertips. Straighten the legs. Bring the hands back to the floor, stepping your right foot back, dropping your right knee and curling the right toes. Right hand stays down, left hand comes to the shoulder, turn and twist, and then gaze up to that left hand. Rotate, squeeze. Then bring that left hand down to the floor. Walk the hands back towards that right knee. Bring those left toes back to the shins. Breathe in, breathe out, fold over that leg. Maybe bring that right hand to the outside of the left foot. Twist the body in a half split rotation. Then come back through centre. Walk the hands back towards that left foot. Tuck the back toes under, lift up the back knee. Walk the hands around towards the centre of the feet, toes in front of the heels. Left hand centralises, right hand comes to the shoulder, turn, rotate the body. Raise the right hand, gaze up to the thumb. Bring the right hand down to where the left hand is. Left hand comes to the shoulder, turn, twist, rotate to the left. Raise the hand to the ceiling. Bring that left hand down to meet the right. Allow the body to fold in between those thighs, maybe bringing the hands in the centre of the feet. Breath in, come up to a half lift. Walk the hands around towards that left foot. Windmill the right arm up and over. Interlace the fingers, push them down to the floor, turn the shoulders back to the left knee, and then fold to the inside of the left thigh. Reaching the hands up and away from the body, relaxing the neck. Release the hands down, either side of that left foot, come onto the toes of the back foot. Step forward onto the left leg as you raise the right leg up high. Maybe find the balance on that left foot by moving the hands to the ankle. And then release that right foot to meet the left. Heel toe the feet out to the edges. Find your Malasana squat, dropping the knees at the bums in between the heels, elbows to the inside of the knees. So refine that rotation again. Left hand comes down to the floor, right hand lifts. Keep that right knee squeezing out. Right hand comes back to meet the left. Right hand comes to the floor as the left hand lifts. And bring it back to centre. Just take another moment in Malasana. Reversing back through that left side. Lift the hips, bring the hands to the floor. Heel toe the feet back in towards each other. Weight comes into the left foot as you raise the right leg. Fold over that left thigh. Maybe find a couple of moments in a balance on that left foot. Squeeze those right bum cheeks a little more to lift that leg a little higher. And then release the hands to the floor, release the right foot to the floor, drop the heel internally. Left knee stays bent as you windmill the right arm up over. Interlace the fingers at the bum. Turn the shoulders forward. Chest comes to the inside of that left thigh as those arms reach up and over the head. Humble warrior. Release the neck. Push energetically into both feet. Maybe feel like you're drawing those heels towards each other. Then release the hands down. Walk them around to the right side of the mat. Again, toes in front of the heels. Left hand centralised, right hand to the shoulder. Turn, twist. Right hand to the ceiling, gaze to that right thumb. Bring your right hand down to meet the left. Left hand comes to the shoulder, turn, twist to the left. Reach up with the left hand or bring it to the lower back. Release that left hand back to the floor. Allow the body to fold in between those thighs. Breath in, half left. Walk the hands around towards your left foot. Drop the back knee, untuck the back toes. Walk the hands back towards the right knee. Left toes back to the shins. Breathe in. Breathe out, fold over that left thigh. Maybe right hand comes to the outside edge. Rotate, feel the stretch down that right side of the back. Contraction down the left side of the waist. Come back to centre. Walk the hands back forward to the front of the mat. Right hand stays grounded, left hand to the shoulder, turn and raise that left hand. Maybe feather light touch through the right. Releasing that left hand back down. Step the right foot forward to meet the left. And allow those bodies to fold over the thighs. Bend the knees as much as you need to. Take a hold of the elbows. Let go of the head. Maybe make some circles with the elbows in one direction. Circles to the other way. Finishing all that hard work of addition and subtraction. Release the hands to the floor, come up onto the tippy toes, and keeping the heels high, bring those bums towards the heels. And then lift the chest. Remove the hands from the floor, bring the hands together at the chest. Just take a moment, balancing on those tiptoes, just finding a little bit of stillness here. And then reach the arms forward, send the hips back, bring the bums to the floor, heels to the front, bums into the centre. Keep a bend in the knees and then slowly let yourself come down to the mat, one vertebra at a time, using the abdominal strength to release you down. Trying to keep the feet grounded. Coming to the floor, we're just going to take a back bending bridge just to stretch out those front chains as we've done a lot of forward folds and twists. So feet come in towards the bum, toes in front of the heels. Push into those feet, slowly curl up through that spine, lifting the hips as high as you can take them. Gaze stays upwards, chin comes to the chest. Stretch the back of the neck, squeeze those glutes to lift those hips higher. Hands are down, palms facing down. Really feel that stretch through the hip flexors, the activation through the muscles through the back of the body. Try not let the knees drop out to the sides. Feel like you're squeezing something in between those knees. And then slowly bring those bums back down. Let those knees drop inwardly, heel toe the feet out to the edges of the mat. Either cactus the arms or T-shape. And then let the knees go over to your right side without the feet moving. Just to feel a little more stretch through that left hip flexor. Stretch through the inside of that right thigh. And a stretch down that quad of the left leg. Maybe turn the gaze towards the left elbow. So we have a little rotation, a little bit of stretch down the front chain of muscles. Keep plugging those shoulders into the floor. One more breath. in this direction. And then slowly bring your knees back to centre, the gaze back to the ceiling. And then take them to the other direction, knees dropping over to the left, feet not moving so they're still mat width apart. Right knee dropping into the centre of the mat, left knee dropping to the outside edge, left side of the mat. And maybe gaze towards that right elbow. Your next breath in, bring those knees back into centre. Heel toe the feet back together. Bring the knees into the chest. Squeeze them tight, compress the hips. Maybe hug the knees in nice and tightly into the body. And then just taking yourself into a form of relaxation for you. That may be having the knees dropping out to the side, butterfly legs, or having the legs long to the ends of the mat. In our full Shavasana position, bring the hands wherever the legs are, bring the hands down by the sides of the body. Let the fingers gently curl, palms facing up. Send the shoulders down to the hips. Push into the heels, lift the hips away. Tuck the tailbone towards the front of the mat. Bring that lower back to push into the floor. And then let those hips just rock from side to side. Take a turn of the head in one direction. Back through centre. Over to the other side. Back to centre, and just take a few moments in Shavasana to consolidate everything that you've just done through your practice. Being mindful of how your body's moved, being aware of the spaces that are tighter, noticing the differences from your left and right sides, knowing we're never a mirror image. We always have one side that's tighter than the other. And this is the case for pretty much everybody. If you do a home practice or stretches, be aware of those tighter sides, maybe stretch those tighter sides for a little longer. Or maybe those tight sides need a little bit more strength work. Not always does tightness mean that you have no flexibility. Quite often tightness means there's a weakness within that muscle. Just be aware of those places, those sensations. Know your own body. So if you wish to stay in relaxation a little longer, pause me now. If you're wishing to come out with me, starting to wriggle the fingers, starting to wriggle those toes, maybe bring a little rotation into those wrists, into those ankles. Maybe you wish to take a full body stretch, stretching the hands up and over the head, stretching the fingers, the toes, arching into that lower back. And then bringing those hands back up and over, bringing the knees one at a time in towards the chest, giving those knees a hug, maybe making a few circles on the ceiling in one direction, Just massaging that lower back. Maybe circles the other way. And squeeze those knees back into the chest for one more time. And then allow yourself to roll over onto a side. Make a pillow with the hands. Just take a moment here. Take a long breath in through the nose. And a long sigh out through the mouth. Then when you're ready, slowly making your way into a seated position. Whatever suits your body right now. Either cross-legged, legs out in front, or maybe sat onto the shins. If you're in cross-legged, bringing a heel at a time into that groin, and then the hands onto the shins. Close the eyes here just for another breath. Breathe in, reach the hands up and over the head. Breathe out, bring the hands to the chest, soft gaze to the floor. Have peace in your thoughts, your words, your hearts. From my heart to yours, Namaste.